let me get into this story. Okay, this is my story time about my experience protesting. Now, I went to 2 different protests. I'm going to tell you about my first experience. The first protest I went to was for a group called Create Change. This protest was approximately, I would say 90% black, with the other 15% being white and Hispanic. Okay, so with this protest, it was very peaceful. It was in Hollywood, California, and the creators of Create Change actually went up to the Hollywood police and told them that we will be protesting. And they had a talk with the police, and the lieutenant actually told them that they support our protest, and they just ask that we don't destroy any property, but they stand with us. They'll make sure that we're safe and, take all the time that we need. So we protested. We started at Hollywood and Vine, and we went all the way to the Hollywood Police Department, which has been there for over 50 years. When we got there, it was only like 3 police officers that I saw that was on the roof. When I saw them, they had on no masks. They had just their uniforms. I couldn't see any weapons, but the roof was actually covering them into like the chest area. So I'm pretty sure, they was ready for anything. So I'm pretty sure we couldn't see that they had some weapons. I know they had their regular gun, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had some more stuff ready. The protest was very peaceful. Like I said, it was 85% black people. Everybody was peaceful. Everybody was uniting. We were seeing stuff like, prosecute the police, defund the police. And the police said, and one police officer actually did like this. A white guy was like, good luck to y'all. It was very peaceful. Like I said, 85% black, 15% others. I started protesting at 8:30 in the morning. We were done with that protest. We started really around 10. I left the house at 8:30 a.m. We started around 10. We was done by 11:15. So an hour and a half protest, very peaceful. 85% black people. Now, it was another protest that started at 12 p.m. I got there around 12:30. When I got there, I looked around. I was like, oh, wow, looks like 5,000 people. We went around the corner of this protest. They was like, everybody, let's shift to the left. It had to be I saw at least 25,000 people at this protest. It was called Black Lives Matter. Now, when I got to this protest, it was predominantly white and Hispanic. And I saw a few Asian people. And when I tell you black people made up approximately 10%, I would say for every 10 people, 1 person was black in this crowd. 10% we made up. And I don't even think it was a full 10% because like I said, it was like 25,000 people there. And I don't think it was 2,500 black people. Not at all. Okay, cool. I go there. It seemed peaceful. It's a lot of older people that look to be like in their 40s, 50s. I seen older white people as old as, I would say 70s, 75, with signs saying Black Lives Matter, prosecute the police, defund the police. I even saw some weird stuff like if you can suck black D, then you could fight for black issues. I thought that was a little out there. One, I had to double look. I saw a sign that said, I thought it said Blue Lives Matters. And I was like, you gonna come here and do that? Don't do that. Do that on y'all time. Don't come to Black Lives Matter protest and but it really said Blue Lives Murder. And these was young white kids. Like I said, it was about 25,000 people, and it was not 2,500 black people. So we didn't even make up 10% of this protest. Okay, so I had a rug that was supposed to be being delivered. So I left the protest around 1 p.m. Come home, get my rug delivered. My homeboy called me. He like, yo, this protest is lit. Like, you gotta be here. This is a part of history. So I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna catch an Uber over there. He was like, all right, meet me at the Grove. That's in Hollywood. I would say around 3rd and Fairfax. 3rd and Fairfax in Los Angeles, California, right? Near Melrose. So I hop on the Uber, get over there. I'm surprised the Uber only $17. I get as close as I can, which is about 2 blocks away. So I'm like, all right, cool. I go over there. Like I said, it's still less than 10% black people. And when I tell you they were turned up, the first thing that I saw, they kept slowly approaching the police, and the police was like, get back, get back. They were yelling on like, you know, bullhorns and intercoms or whatever. So the police come, they like yelling, get back. So eventually the crowd wasn't moving, and they started pushing the crowd, right? Pushing the crowd, pushing them back, and they started shooting rubber bullets. And then I was like, I didn't know what that was. I had never heard of a rubber bullet until this whole protesting thing started. I didn't know what a rubber bullet was. So this one white guy explained to me, he was like, yo, they hurt, but they ain't really gonna do much damage. Which now I found out is a lie, because I don't know if you guys been seeing the photos and stuff online of people getting hit with these rubber bullets. Like, it's caused some people to lose their eye. And it caused some people, like this one girl I saw, she had a dash. The rubber was still stuck in her forehead. Like, this stuff is getting vicious. Okay, so the police is controlling the crowd here. So the police is on the outside. The crowd is here. Inside the crowd, they took over a Los Angeles city bus. Literally flattened the tires, spray painted, sitting there, actually actively busting out the windows of the city bus. I saw one kid sitting in the driver's side of the city bus. I didn't even know you could actively get to the top of the city bus. They was crawling. I see kids. These are young kids. Like, I'm saying that doing all this protesting and they're looting and rioting is young kids like that I experienced in Los Angeles. I can only talk for Los Angeles because that's where I live and that's what I saw and that was my experience. I can't speak for everywhere in the country because it's going on everywhere. So as these young kids climbing through the roof of the city bus, standing on there, stomping, yelling, Black Lives Matter, still tearing up stuff, I'm telling you, 1% black. Everybody else white and Hispanic. So I'm like, all right, cool. That's a part of the movement. So then it was too much. They start shooting rubber bullets. So I was like, man, I don't want to get hurt. So I stay in like the middle part. Then they was like, yo, I see people breaking out running. I break out running. Somebody's sneaker hit my leg and kind of, brushed some of my skin off the shin of my leg. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm still out here. We in the fight, right? I go down the street because the cops what they do is they keep moving you in to keep condensing the crowd because they don't want you to spread and start looting, because where they were close to was a whole bunch of shops on Melrose and also the Grove Mall, which is a huge mall that has a Nordstrom's. Inside the Nordstrom's, they have Louis Vuitton, Christian Louboutins. They got a Nike store, Top Shop, everything you can think of is there. So the cops keep condensing the crowd. And then what I didn't know, they didn't have enough police officers. So as you know, any street, it's like 4. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, almost like a stop sign, but just imagine a whole block. So it wasn't enough police officers. So when they would push people and people would start running to the other end, the cops would get in cars and come back around the other end and leave the other end open. All right. This is a whole experience. So I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So I'm right there. The cops, they kind of like just standing still and people are antagonizing them. One guy pulled his car up. He was bold as hell, pulled his car up and the cop told him, hey, move your car. And he just in the car turning up the music, people jamming, people having a good time, people still yelling with their signs. Okay, I was like, all right, cool. Let me move back. They start shooting the rubber bullets again. I go down the street. They done set a whole, when I tell you, a cop truck on fire. They set it on fire. Who the hell? I don't even know black people that got dynamite. If you're a black person with dynamite, please drop it in the comments because I don't know any. Because I checked with all my friends that know other black people, and we all collectively came up with that it wasn't us with no damn dynamite. Like I said, let me reiterate that it was only less than 10% black people, and now we're up towards the numbers about 40,000 people out here at this protest on 3rd and Fairfax. A cop car is on fire. Another cop car, that's a cop truck, was on fire, set on fire. It was just black smoke, just in the clouds of black smoke. I'm like, oh my God. And then you hear pow, pow, pow. So I was like, are they shooting again? And then they was like, no, it's the police truck that's on fire. It's just setting off. So I'm like, oh shit, let me get away from this truck for something fly and hit me in the eye, like when you driving on the freeway and a rock hit your windshield and crack it. I don't want nothing cracking my windshield. You hear me? So I'm like, all right, cool. So then I go there and I see these young kids. They done flattened the tire of a police car, spray painted it till it was unrecognizable. And they're standing on top of the car, dancing and just like, yo, Black Lives Matter. One black person out of, I would say about 7 was on top of this car. So I want y'all to know it's not just us. Okay, so cool. I see a whole bunch of people, you know, putting graffiti, Black Lives Matters. Black Lives Matters with the S. It's Black Lives Matter. M-A-T-T-E-R, not an S. So you know that wasn't no black person. Because black people, we at least know what our cause is. We don't add no S's unless it's, you know, older black people that's over 70. They put S's on stuff. Like they say women's and feets but we of the younger generation, we ain't gonna put no S on nothing, especially when it's for the cause and we know the cause. So it's Black Lives Matters. That tells you that wasn't a black person that put that. That was somebody else who was like, if I was black, I'd probably put an S on it, but they knew that it was spelled M-A-T-T-E-R, but whatever. So it was a lot of white guys with fully covered masks and stuff that was tagging buildings, spray painting them, putting BLM, fuck 12 on everything, just going down the line on each building. And when I tell you it was very suspicious, and I believe they were with those left-right groups and those alt groups because they had on the military-style boots. And then they had on ugly jeans that didn't fit well, but fit their waist, but didn't fit their legs. And it was faded like they had washed them 5 or 6 times. And that just reminded me from being in the South of when somebody races, that's how they wear their clothes. They wear a belt, like he had on a tight ass black belt that wasn't name brand, that was probably from Walmart, and some, you know, army boots. You don't wear no army boots to a march, a protest where it's like 100 degrees. I mean, literally it was like 85 degrees, but it wasn't the outfit that you would wear for that much sun, you know? Cause obviously we as black people know you don't wear no army boots and you don't wear no church shoes to a protest. So that tell you that these people wasn't here for our cause. Just going down, spray painting everything. Okay, cool. I'm like, wow, this is getting rough. Car on fire, the bus. I'm like, where the bus driver? Did they just run him to safety? Okay, cool. Chilling over there. Next, this Charger, a red Charger, through the crowd, almost hit people. And then it had to brake because it stopped right before it was about to hit a whole line of cops. And they start busting the window, punching the driver, and the driver and almost hit a cop. Come to find out, I looked at the video that somebody showed me. I recorded on my live. I recorded video of another video that a white guy showed me. And it actually was an undercover cop because it had the blue and red lights going off, literally trying to hit people in the crowd. If that ain't attempted murder, what is? Okay, so I'm like, all right, there's a lot going on. So I decided to leave. I was like, okay, you know what? I done been out protesting since I done left the house at 8:30 in the morning. So I count that time. I don't count what time we actually started. That was 10 because it was black and we didn't start on time. So I'm like, nah, I'm going to count to 8:30. I started protesting at 8:30 in the morning. It is now 7 o'clock. I'm tired. My knees ain't meant to last that long. Once you get over 30, your knees don't even supposed to be out there that long. I gave it all I had. I'm leaving. My phone done died. So I'm like, yo, I had the Uber here. My phone died. So I'm like, all right, cool. So me and my homeboy, I was like, man, let's just walk to the Hollywood bus station, which was at least like 2.5, 3 miles. So he was like, all right, let's keep going. Let's go. So we started walking towards it. So we decided to turn right on Melrose. These 3 Mexican kids came up to me. They looked to be in their early 20s and some as young as maybe like 18 or 19. They were walking towards us dressed in all black, face covered. And they had one kid had a metal baseball bat in his hand. Metal baseball bat. And they all had duffel bags and backpack walking towards the protest. So that means they wasn't near for the protest because the protest was over here. They were walking towards the protest to start looting. So the little Mexican kid say to me, he said, hey. And I say, huh? He was like, you want something? I was like, nah, I'm good. He was like, all right. He took the metal bat and bust the window right in my face. I was like, oh no. I was like, what y'all, because I'm nosy in my spirit. So I said, hey, what y'all about to get? He was like, oh, they got some nice ass bikes and some nice stuff in here. Y'all want something? And I was like, nah, man, I don't steal. I don't steal, but if y'all drop some, whatever, but I ain't gonna go in there with you. I ain't gonna put my fingerprints on nothing, even though I got on gloves, but So this guy comes out, a black guy. I don't know if that was his store, if he worked there or whatever. He said, hey, why y'all doing it? And I was like, hey man, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That was them 3 kids right there. And they started walking fast, and then they started running past me. I was like, listen, man, I don't do stuff like that. He was like, come back here. I was like, I ain't do it. Like, don't make me tell them to bring their ass back down here, because I ain't had nothing to do with it. But if you want some smoke, I instigate some smoke. Leave me alone, because I don't steal from people. So then that happened. He went back into his business. So then I got a little hungry because I had been protesting all day. So I was like, you know what? I'm a little parched. My throat is dry. I'm going to go ahead. It was a little pizza spot that was open. So it was a pizza spot, and it was these 2 guys in front of me and 2 people waiting. And so I'm standing there in the pizza. I got on my face mask or whatever. And the guy turned around. He said, hey, is that you? And I was like, what? He was like, Daphnique, that's you. I love your videos. Oh, you funny as shit. I was like, good thing I didn't steal nothing, because people know my face even with the mask on. I'm like, oh Lord, I think it's the hair. Next time if I gotta wear a wig if I go out there, So I'm like, all right, he recognized me. Those same kids run past, go to the store on Melrose called The Palace that sells some of the most exclusive Jordans and all this kind of stuff, like Nikes, whatever exclusive shoes, like stuff you can't even get at Finish Line or Foot Locker, none of that. They got this stuff. So I'm eating my pizza. Them same kids, I guess they found a spot when nobody was in it. They took the metal bat, boom, bust the window. And then all of a sudden I see everybody, just kids like running from everywhere, running in there. When I tell you, this was Melrose in Los Angeles, California. Less than 3% black people ran up in there. So let you know it was white and Hispanic again. Okay, and I saw a couple of Asian people. I was like, I didn't even know. I thought y'all was studious. I didn't know y'all was going to be running up in the palace stealing. But so they went in and they bust the windows and they started stealing shoes like it's juicy Jordans. I saw one guy with 9 pairs of Jordans running out, and a guy pulled up in a U-Haul truck. A U-Haul. I'm like, where the hell you get a U-Haul truck from? Y'all know it got a license plate on it. Pulled up in the U-Haul. The guy ran out with the shoes. They rented a U-Haul van. You know, the work van, the U-Haul work van, not the big truck, but the work van, the one that's like drivable. Rented that just so they could loot. I was like, now y'all know. So I saw that. And then more people. Now it just turned from like those 3 kids to emerge to like, I would say about 50, 60 people running in the store. Other businesses owners standing outside trying to protect their businesses. Because the thing about Melrose, it's not like a Nordstrom's or a Saks, somebody who been hijacking us on these prices. They're stealing for mom and pop businesses, which isn't right, because those are people that I saw in the news. Some of them said they don't even have insurance, because business isn't that good and they can't afford it. So, they're really hurting these small businesses that are on Melrose. So then it was, but I had never seen so much unity. And when I tell you where the unity came from the looting. The looting. People was actually helping people, grabbing people's hand, helping them step over glass. Somebody dropped a pair of shoes. Somebody gave it back to them. I was like, wow, this is so much support. Support you could have used over at the real protests. Okay. And I forgot to tell y'all, at the other protest, it was some black girl ghost riding a whip. I didn't even know what ghost riding a whip was, because I ain't never ghost rided a whip. I thought the ghost was like the Rolls Royce Wraith or some shit. I thought it was a ghost. She had both of her car doors open in the middle of the protest. Both car doors open, just her in the driver's seat. Ghost just riding around in circles in the middle of the protest. I was like, but what did, and I had to have my friend, I said, what is she doing? Why is her car doors open? Does she know her car? Because you know me, when you don't grow up in certain neighborhoods, you don't be knowing what people be doing. So my homeboy was like, that's Ghost riding a whip. She probably from Oakland. I was like, what's that? He was like, that's where you ride around with your doors open. And I was like, wow, that's so dumb. It's like in the middle of the protest, she's playing loud music, Ghost riding their whip by herself in an orange Charger. I'm like, girl, what is you doing? Okay, let me get back over here to this store. So people are just like breaking in, and I see these same kids, they're like initiating all the looting. So they going down, they hit that store, got all the stuff they want to get. Boom, they hit another store. And what people, because people were stealing shoes from the palace, I guess the boxes, shoe boxes are huge. So what they do is they throw the box. You just saw a whole bunch of shoe boxes on the ground, and they taking the shoes and like stealing them or whatever. And like people dropping them, people snatching people boxes. I'm like, what? And then some people like giving people their box. I was like, support and hate all in the same place. All right, so we keep walking down the street. I'm like, wow, this is getting crazy. Like they're looting now, and it's about to start getting dark. In Los Angeles, I'm saying it's getting dark here around like 7:38. So we pushing up on 7:30. I say about 8:30 to get dark. So we pushing up on like 7:30. So we go, the phone's still dead. So I'm like, man, I'm tired. Like my knees hurting. My knees is only good for like a good like 4 or 5 hours. We pushing up on like 12 hours of protesting. Like, and I was like, how much farther do we have to go? And my homeboy was like, oh, we got another 2 blocks to catch the train. And I was like, oh Lord. So I sit down and I'm looking at every building, looking like I'm stealing. Looking at every like apartment building, seeing if I see like an outdoor plug so I can plug my cell phone, because I brought my charger, but my phone was dead. So I was like, let me see if I can plug my cell phone in somewhere. I see one place got near there in the front yard. It's like a plug. So I sit there and I plug up my phone. And it kept showing that my charger was on the phone, but it wasn't charging my phone. It was an Indian lady that was standing up there smoking a cigarette. She said, hey, what y'all doing? I said, well, she was like, are you trying to call an Uber? I said, yeah, but my phone died. And she was like, it's okay. You could I'll just add an extra trip. Just put your address in my phone and I'll add an extra trip because I'm going to Hollywood. Y'all going that way north, so y'all should be good. I said, okay, cool. I had cash on me because I was like, let me start keeping cash on me. So I tried to give her some money. I was like, here go like $15. And she was like, no, y'all just get home safe. And I was like, thank you so much. And it was crazy because at the earlier protest, it was this white guy. He was a photographer and he was like documenting the protest that we had. And then he was going to the 12 p.m. protest. And so when he was doing that, he didn't have it. He was like, hey, can I ride with y'all? And I was like, well, it's like 5 of us in the car. So I paid for his Uber to go to the other protest. So I guess it was like a full circle coming back. Like this lady paid for our protest and wouldn't take any money from us. So we got in the car. She tried to get in the front seat. We was in the back seat. Then the driver, it was an old black man too. He was like, nah, nobody sit in the front. That's illegal. I was like, illegal? Now you making up rules, sir. Don't start. So then she sit in the back with us. And then when I tell you he was driving, when I tell you this old black man, he had to have been an ex-game banger getaway driver. Because he was hitting every curve. We all bouncing. I'm like, golly, if the protest ain't going to kill us, you will, sir. Who are you working for? Because you're working against us. So we finally made it home, and when I tell you the riots got even worse, and what's crazy is when I got home, I turned on the news, and that the shoe store, somebody set it on fire. I don't know if it was people that set it on fire because they had looted it, because they wanted to get rid of the evidence, like the fingerprints, because nobody had on gloves. I didn't see not one person with gloves, but the place was like set on fire, and it's just so sad to see that all this stuff is going on. Like, this is crazy. But I will tell you this, like when I was in the midst of the protests, I never felt so alive. Like, it was because they weren't looting, but I guess they were destroying like police property. But it was just like, it was like a rush, like of just running it for safety. And just, I was like, oh my God. Cause like, I'll never get that Call of Duty excitement in my life on a normal day basis. So it was crazy to see this stuff going on. Like, it was so unreal. Like, I felt like I was literally in a time machine back in time, watching people that really strongly believe in something so much that they're willing to fight for it. And it was a beautiful thing, because in this country, change has to come. It has to come. Like, and then what kills me is so many people think that us as black people, oh, you guys had a black president, you had this, you had that, oh, y'all own businesses, and, you know, Jay-Z owns part of an NFL team. But no. Injustice is a threat to justice everywhere. And until we get justice everywhere, we got a long ways to go. But I'm telling you, people are now looting in Los Angeles. You guys can share your story in the comments, but people are looting in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, Melrose, Santa Monica, Huntington Beach, Long Beach, Costa Mesa, Burbank, Van Nuys. It's getting crazy out here, guys. And this crazy part is that it's like the Black Lives Matter is a positive group. And it's so many people putting so much negative energy on them, and it's not them. I mean, I ain't gonna say it ain't black people looting and doing all this crazy stuff. I just know in Los Angeles, the numbers were very low. I'll tell you that. And if you're looking at the news, look at social media, because the news only show you what they want you to see. But social media is telling the real truth. The real truth. But I survived. I protested. And I will continue to fight for freedom.